We're joined now by the Hall of Famer, former NFL GM with the Bills, Panthers, and Colts. Bill Polian joins us. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Let's just dive right in on our new general manager, Andrew Berry. You got him into this league, and what did you see early in Andrew, and what type of hands were he in here, sir?
Well, you're in great hands. I think Andrew, when he first came with us in Indianapolis, it was obvious that he was highly intelligent, very motivated, had a great work ethic, really nice guy to be around, got along well with people, and really had a burning desire to learn what it took to be a senior executive in the NFL. And he jumped in with both feet, and asked me, for example, for a bibliography where there books he could read and people he could research. That's the kind of person he is. So you're in good hands because he's had not only great personal qualities, but he's had a terrific background in the game, spending a lot of years in Indianapolis under two different administrations, working with Chris Polian, Tom Telesco, myself, and then, of course, the group that followed us. And then moving on to Cleveland, I remember Jimmy Haslam calling me and asking for a reference. And I said, you couldn't get a better guy, and you're getting him at the right time in his career when he's ready to make a huge career leap. And obviously he did. And then, of course, he went over to Philadelphia with Howie Roseman and Joe Douglas. Really a good group of people there. Mr. Lurie, that's a great organization. So he's had exposure to that. He's had exposure to the NFC as well as the AFC. And he's ready. He's ready, and I don't have any doubt that he'll be a terrific general manager.
What's the biggest challenge when you go from, say, running a pro personnel department or becoming, as he did, running football operations as well as doing some scouting with the Eagles, and here is EVP of player personnel. What's the biggest change when you become that guy, the general manager?
Well, the public part of it is sometimes difficult. It won't be for Andrew. As I said, he's got a very pleasant personality and gets along well with people, so I don't think that part of it will be difficult, but it's new. The scrutiny is new. Ultimately, the buck stops with you. So, in the other roles, you have a very loud voice, but it's not the only voice. When you're the general manager, it's you and the head coach and the owner, and that's where all the hard decisions come. If they're easy, they get made at levels below you, so you get all the hard ones, and that's tough because the hard ones are not 80-20 calls. They're in many cases 51-49. So you have to make value judgments on what the player's worth, what his role to the team is worth, how he stacks up within the system. All of those are difficult questions to answer, which is why you need the kind of background that Andrew's had, including time as a player at Harvard, to bring all that experience to bear on those kinds of questions.
When you were around Andrew, did you ever think, and it sounds like you knew that he had qualities that could lead him to a lot of success, did you ever think you'd be on the phone talking about the youngest general manager in the history of the National Football League at 32 years of age?
Well, that part of it, no, I didn't think about, but I certainly knew I was talking about a future general manager. I mean, that was pretty clear.
That's pretty strong.
We had four guys that Chris Polian, Tom Telesco, Dave Caldwell, and he's the fourth, and so not surprising at all.
Bill Polian, our guest, the Hall of Famer, joining us, and gave Andrew Berry his start with the Indianapolis Colts. And you mentioned I think one of the things that's really amazing at age 32, Bill, is the diversification of the jobs he worked in and the players and the general managers and people he worked under, from yourself to Howie to his experiences here with both Sashi and John. A wide variety that he can lean on at such a young age. And one thing that we knew him from when he was here the last time, and you're right on the pleasant demeanor. He just always has a smile on his face. He's always in a good mood, just a great guy to be around. I think that sets a tone for an organization when they have somebody that is that way. But the experiences that he's had, we firmly believe that if we didn't hire him, somebody else would quickly, that he was ready for this. And it's amazing for at his age to have experienced what he's experienced. And it probably speaks to that hunger that you spoke about earlier when he's asking you what books to read. Like, this is a guy who has this has been his singular focus, was to get to this position.
Yeah, I think so. And he's done it by being a good soldier and a good teammate and a good worker at every stop. He's not a guy who's clawed his way over people. He's not a guy who's been focused entirely on reaching his goal. He's recognized and recognizes that you get to your goals by doing a good job with the positions you're in before you reach the pinnacle. So he's earned his way here, and that will stand him in good stead. And you're right, he's had a lot of diversified experience. It helps that he's been in the Browns organization before, because however you slice it and for whatever reason, it's different. And so you have to understand that, and he does. So that's helpful. And as I said, he's been with Howie and Joe at Philadelphia and Doug Peterson. So he understands how that relationship works. He's worked for, a lot of great owners, Jim Irsay, Jimmy Haslam, Mr. Lurie, who's terrific. He's worked with the John Carroll crew, the guys at Tom Telesco and Dave Caldwell and my son Chris and a lot of other guys from John Carroll who've had success in the league. That's a very good experience because they look at it from a little different viewpoint than he does, coming from Harvard.
Sure.
So, he's had a broad range of experience, which will stand him in good stead. I mean, you need all that experience before you step into the job. You can't come in cold or come in from a contract negotiator's position or a marketer's position, for example, and have any chance to succeed in the job. It's just too difficult.
It is, and it's a job that, as you've seen in the NFL, it is tough to stay. The great ones are able to stay for a long time. Others, you can be in and out, and obviously there's been a lot of turnover here, but the signing of Andrew Berry, the long contract he and Kevin Stefanski got coming in together, they expect this to be the pairing for a long time here in Cleveland. How important is it to have, and Andrew Berry said in his opening press conference that there's no bigger fan or supporter of Kevin Stefanski's in the NFL outside of perhaps Kevin Stefanski's own wife. How important is it to have that relationship between a head coach and a GM?
It's really important because no matter what the contracts say or no matter what you hear in the media, it is a partnership. The head coach has to support the general manager in certain areas, and the general manager has to support and defer to the head coach in a lot of different areas. That's the way it works. And it's not unlike the military. The people in the Pentagon have to support and defer to the combatant commanders on the ground. It's just the nature of the task and the challenge. And obviously, others have to obey the chain of command. It works both ways, but in the end, it's really a partnership, and you have to support one another. And the coach's voice, the head coach's voice, should be a loud voice and one that's listened to and carefully and heard. And I think Andrew's worked in those kinds of organizations, so he understands how that works, and he'll make it work, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Have you gotten a chance to speak with him since becoming the general manager of the Browns?
No, I haven't, but he knows full well that I'm 100% in his corner. He also knows that I won't bother him with a phone call or a text. He's got too many to deal with.
As he gets
when
to
you've
work,
done
yes.
the job, you know that those congratulations are welcome and fun, but you don't need to get bothered with it. He knows how I feel about it.
This is fantastic, giving us a little bit of your time, sir. We appreciate it a great deal. Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure.
That is Bill Polian, the Hall of Famer and former GM of the Bills, Panthers, and Colts.